Hi, I'm gonna talk about an experience, but it's not about a daily one. It's more like about a period of time. I need to share that harder thing of in my life. Like last year, there were quite a few points in my life when I reached the bottom line again, and I felt like there's no way out, and there's like I have all these negative feelings, and I just don't know what to do with them, and I feel like I can't connect with God, everything just felt like impossible. And of course, I can talk to God in any circumstance. This is a gift of grace in my life. So I kept telling God, like, you need to save me from this. I don't know what's wrong with me. I know all of this is a lie, but I just can't see through it. And yes, it was hard, um, and I can't tell you all of these things in detail because I don't want to talk about my minister friends and family in a negative way. I don't want to share things that are like misunderstandable. So the only part I can say is that I reached a point when I felt like everything is just impossible in my life, and I knew that this is a lie, and this is just something that is happening to me, but I couldn't like see through it at all, and I identified with all these pains completely many times, and over and over again, I told God, you should save me from that. I know it's just about the way I see things, but I can't see them in another way. Um, and recently, I got into situations, but I had to share an experience of mine a year ago, where I was in the living room of the Trinity, and there was this creature of pain, the the Trinity and this creature of pain, and I was there, and I could see them all. And as I was watching them, I realized somehow that I can see that creature, I can see the Trinity, and so this creature cannot be me. Like, I am there seeing it, so it can't be me. And I can't really explain that to you in more detail because this is it. Um, I can see it, so it is not me. So all the pains and all these impossible feelings, they are not me. So they are just an illusion, and I can be without them. I am not them. And it was such a realization that I was in ecstasy for like days. Like, I was walking around the town and just watching clouds and touching leaves, and everything was just beautiful because there was such a weight lifted off of my shoulders that none of them is me. None of those painful stories are me. Yeah, and it was amazing. And as I was sharing this to people while I was struggling, I felt like this seeing is like coming back to me. Like, it doesn't make sense. But but I felt like, oh, I can't see through those identities, through those false identities, and all of a sudden I could. And I started to like do this again when I was just like sitting down and just imagining that. I'm not even the video girl, I'm not even the minister girl, I'm not even the her child, I'm not even the aspiring artist, I'm not none of those. And I just started to enjoy that rest and peace that comes to the surface when we don't identify with any of our identities. Yeah, there's something with my throat. Sorry, I sound a bit weird. So, yeah, it was amazing to have that insight again. And I will have some kind of teaching on that later, but it's just like we have this false self, which is the sin nature and old self in a sense. But when we think about sin nature, we think about stealing or hating or lying. But it's more than the things we commit. It's also the things that others committed against us. So this false self is everything that has twisted you into something else than the original idea of God about you. So all the bad memories, all the childhood trauma, everything is in that false self. This construct of self made of memories and experiences. And it's way beyond sin in a traditional sense. It also includes all the twistedness, no matter whose fault it is. So, yeah, this is why I love this expression. I know it's not a Christian expression for self, but it is a very good one because it includes everything that I am not. The whole illusion that I think myself to be, that I cover the original nature of God in me with. So, yeah, and it was such a, like, I remember it was such a crazy realization when I saw for the first time that none of those things is what I truly am. And I I can't make it happen. Like, I can't say that if you have pains and struggle with issues, just pretend they are not there or just suppress it. It's the worst thing you can do, like suppressing it. So it's like not a mantra that, oh, I'm not that, I don't care. Um, so it's not like that. You can't force yourself to see it. It's a gift of grace when you just you can only realize this. You cannot make it happen or force it on yourself. Like, oh, I'm not my false self, so I pretend it's not hurting anymore. If it determines your feelings and actions, it's only a suppression. So only if you really see it can experience that freedom, like, oh, it's no longer who I am free to be not that. So yeah, these days I have this insight again, and I'm so thankful for it. Sometimes I just sit down and imagine, like, taking off these costumes of different identities. Like, I'm not the herd child, I'm not the artist, I'm not the one who struggles with emotions, I'm not the one who ministers at churches, I'm none of those things. And under the layers of these imagined, illusory identities, there is this presence of God. As Teresa of Avila said, that in the innermost chamber there is the king, reigning uninterruptedly. So yeah, we have the presence of God in us, but we cover it with all those thoughts and identities, and it's strange that I sit down and I let go. Sometimes I imagine that I'm letting go of these identities, but sometimes I just think about it like, oh, I'm not even that. I'm not even that. And I feel like this presence of God just bubbles up, and it's not a feeling, it's not an experience, it's just there. I just know it's always there, or it has always been there. I just covered it up. So it's not like an event, like, oh, it's an experience. It's just something that is me, that is who I am. And yeah, it's so powerful to like take off those identities. I'm not even the mother, I'm not even the wife, I'm not even a CAO. It can be good things, not just pains. Because even to those identities that are not particularly bad, there are lies attached, or there are burdens attached. And when you let go of all of it, like good and bad, there is this space for God, this original presence of God in you, that incorruptible seed of God in you. It just starts to sprout and blossom and takes over you. And I enjoy that a lot these days. Sometimes, yeah, I just make myself remember this. Like, I don't imagine anything. There is a video when I help you like take off those identities. I'm gonna put this video in the description. It's a practical video, but I no longer imagine this. I just know that not even that. And sometimes there is a resistance, like there is a fear, like am I letting go good stuff as well, like I'm gonna be nothing without them, or I'm losing something precious because I'm letting go of good things. And of course it won't hurt you to not be a CA or not be a wife for 5 minutes or for half an hour. We all know that it won't hurt you. But even if you feel like letting them go forever, because that's what it feels like, you can know that what is actually needed will be put back by God, or will come to the surface at the right time. So it's not like I'm not making videos again, or I won't paint any pictures anymore just because I let go of those identities. So the mind can resist this, like, oh, you will disappear, or all your gifts will disappear, or you won't do what you are meant to do if you lose those identities. But actually the only thing you lose is the false self, the pains and burdens, or sin nature, and you just stand there as God, like only the God in you remains. It's not like I am the whole of God, but I am there as the expression of God. Yeah, and it's so powerful, and I'm so thankful that I can see like that again. And it was funny that it was actually my own story that reminded me of it. It's just fun the way Holy Spirit works. So yeah, you can try that anytime for a few minutes, just to let go of all these identities. And yeah, even if they are not particularly false or hurtful, there could be some burdens and lies attached to the quite good ones, like you are a wife or you are a CEO. It's not a bad thing. I can't explain it like logically, but there is something good about like ripping off all the layers that you have put on this incorruptible seed of God, and then you just stand there as this image of God. And it was so funny. It wasn't an experience. It was just like, oh yeah. As soon as I don't identify with those things, the presence of God that I used to struggle for and spend hours and make it happen, now it just, it is just discovered. It is just there as it was always there. Yeah. And there are so many things I can see through now. Oh, and this bad feeling, this bad impression, this stupid thought is just a product of the false self. Like, I don't have to suppress it, I don't have to force it out. It's just something that the false self produces according to its experiences and pains. Let them produce it. Like, this is what it does. I am not that. I am not any of those products of the false self. And I have this insight, like, happening to me randomly throughout the day. It's not something I do. I can promise you. I tried to make it happen many times and it didn't work. I'm just sharing it because it's pure grace. Yeah, I just have this bad impression again, or bad feelings, or twisted thought, or impossible, desperate thing, this forceful, cringing feeling, I don't know. And I feel like, and all of a sudden I can see through it, like, yeah, this is what my mind learned to feel and think. It might be purely psychological, I don't know. It surely does not belong to God that is living in me. Yeah, and actually it's the opposite of suppression, because you allow it. Anyway, I'm gonna make another video of that. It's already too long. So I would highly recommend just sit down and take off all the identities and stay as the image of God. You're loved. Blessings.